Welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Fuck yeah, thanks for having me.
It's very good to see you. And I was thinking to myself on the way down here today, when you've got a set at Download, because I want to say this with full respect, you're like a seasoned pro. Like, you've done this, you've been here, you've won the audience over. People fucking adore you, man.
Stop.
It's true. Keep it coming. But I wondered if the nerves still kick in, or are you just like, bring it fucking on, I just want to absolutely kill today?
Yeah, actually today the nerves were kicking in pretty hard. I was surprised because we had a 3:30 bus call, and I went to sleep probably around, 10:30. Then 11:30 I'm up, 12:30 I'm up, 1:30 I'm up, 2:30. So finally I'm like, I go to the bus, I get in the bus, and I can't sleep. And even though yesterday was a day off, it was a travel day, so it's not really a day off. I wanted to save my voice because we had 8 in a row.
Wow.
And they were sick. It was really cool. Really great bunch of shows. We did a bunch of shows with Carcass and a bunch of festivals. But this is the big one. This is an important one. Not a lot of bands, go from the main stage to the second stage to back to the main stage with a bigger production. And we were told, you're like one of the only metal bands of the main stage.
Yeah. So
we had a big opportunity to bring in the big pyro and the
go all out
Sergeant Slaughterlust, as we call him, and it's kind of like an added bonus because we're also doing Slayer in London, and then we're also doing Kill Switch
coming up.
Yeah. So we realized how lucky we are to be in this position. We're very grateful. We had a chat this morning as a band. We're so grateful that we get to do this. This is probably our biggest year to play the UK in our entire career.
Isn't that insane?
It's crazy.
I mean,
and we've had some big moments,
I was gonna say,
playing the Forum with Slayer and playing Unholy Alliance with Slipknot and Slayer and Mastodon going before us.
But this year now feels even bigger.
It really does, because we're finally reinvesting in the show, and it's just been, it's really surreal. So right before we're going out, I see Cam, and shout out to Andy and shout out to Cam, and thank you for everything, guys. And the whole staff here at Download is always incredible. But right before, I'm looking at all the shit. I'm looking at Sleep Tokens shit, and I'm seeing Shine Down, and I'm like, wow, we're in the conversation. We're still in it. 30 years
we're amongst
in.
It, man. Yeah, it's important.
And it's still surreal. So I'm grateful every day, and I'm just happy that the old pipes still just a little bit rough during Destroy Everything, but there was so much dirt. My teeth were brown when I got off stage from all the dirt in the air.
Is it that bad? People don't know this. They all think it's glory on the photos, like this is a rock and roll moment.
No, it was
the reality is
you're
picking shit out your teeth for days.
My lips felt like sand. It was sand around my lips, but
you were nervous?
Yeah, for the first time in a while, just because you never know. But, man, once they started...
I think the stakes are high as well, because it's the Saturday. I think people are like, Friday's out the way, let's fucking go at it. Sleep Token is the talk of the town. I believe on that stage you've got a point to prove. I think everyone's like, give me your fucking best show of the time. I think Shine Down just before you, and they're like, I'm nervous. I don't know what it is about Download, but the stakes are so much higher. They
are, because... And I love every festival that we do, and I especially love the UK festivals because they're some of the best in the world, especially Bloodstock. But you know how it is with the internet, and moments go semi-viral, or things will happen, and something can happen, and it can be a career changer.
Yeah.
One internet moment can be a career changer for a band.
For good or for bad.
Exactly.
It's true.
Exactly. And for us, going on Bloodstock originally, there was a lot of hate and a lot of people saying hardcore or metalcore, whatever you want to call it,
crossover. Not welcome here, yeah.
Right, and then when you get there, you realize that that's not the case. But with Sleep Token and bands even to a point, someone say Poppy, they're a great gateway for maybe rock fans who are interested in metal and interested in hardcore music to find out about bands like us. And last night our guitar player Frank was at Knocked Loose, and he was telling me about, seeing the Hatebreed shirts in the crowd. And so, it's multi-generational now, but you also have to stay out there, and you have to keep the name out there. And, it's great to see people in the front row with Poppy and Sleep Token shirts singing Looking Down the Barrel and singing Destroy Everything and singing I Will Be Heard. And I think we need to make people realize that there's more of a crossover with rock and and alternative and metal than people think.
Someone was telling me, I think 40% of the tickets this year are first-time festivals goers, and I thought to myself, that new generation that's coming through, people are saying to me, oh, Sleep Token don't deserve to be on the bill, they shouldn't be headlining. Everyone I speak to who has kids right now, who are teenagers, are listening to Sleep Token, and then they kind of get like this urge to be like, I want to see what else is out there. So they've listened to Sleep Token, and then someone says to them, have you heard Metallica? Have you heard Pantera? Have you heard Deftones? And suddenly it's that gateway to lead to bands like Hatebreed, because they want more angst, they want more rawness, they want more energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real magical moment where people today will probably discover Hatebreed, who you didn't even realize were going to be here. They come to your set because they're warming up for Shinedown or someone, and they leave going, I'm going to get a fucking Hatebreed t-shirt. I'm going to go and see fucking Hatebreed next time they tour, because this was my opportunity to be won over. And that was you that went on stage to show them there's a whole world out there if they want it.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of bands rise to that occasion, and maybe that's why I was a little nervous too, because you just know that if it does go well, it's high tide raises all ships.
Of course.
And I've seen it with even if you look at some of the festivals we've done globally, like where the internet was mad. I remember 2 big festivals we did with Linkin Park and rest in peace Chester, but Slayer had to go before Linkin Park in South America, and we were before Slayer.
Yeah.
And it was great. And people stayed for Linkin Park. A lot of the same people, believe it or not, because their girlfriend loves Linkin Park or their little brother loves Linkin Park.
Memories of growing up with them.
Right, and maybe they were really into Linkin Park when they were younger, but then they gravitated towards heavier music and got into Megadeth and Slayer and Lamb of God and Hatebreed, and so it was nice to see. And then we were at the same hotel as Linkin Park, and we would go back to the hotel and we would see a lot of Hatebreed shirts out there too, and that's not what the algorithm would tell you.
No,
if you go to a Linkin Park video on YouTube, you're not going to get suggested a Hatebreed video. So
they've gone out of their own way to discover it.
Right, and so same with Sleep Token. I just did a Jasta show. I had a little solo show we call Thrash Thursdays. We're doing them every month. It's like a year residency, 1 per month at a small venue. And both of my meet and greets, I had 2 Sleep Token shirts in the meet and greet, and I said, Hatebreed's going to do a big festival with them. I said, which song should I check out? And they all gave me different songs, and I listened to them yesterday, and I was really surprised at just sort of how eclectic the sound is. Not just incorporating pop and electronica and even sort of like maybe blues and R&B kind of,
it's literally
but then
everything.
Also like distorted guitars and heaviness. So there's no more gatekeepers. There's no more elitists that I think we really take seriously. You have to
That's important.
be open-minded,
Yeah.
and you have to realize that when someone else is having their moment, it's not going to get you to your moment to try to diminish their moment.
Yeah.
And I think we, as a community, as a metal community and hardcore community, we need to realize that more, because someone else blowing up and becoming the headliner download doesn't mean that it's going to be different for anyone who's also going to be on the come up, say, in the next 5-10 years.
And there's enough cake for everyone to have a slice.
There really is. I came here as a fan many years, just as a fan. Like 1 year I came and I watched System of a Down. 1 year I came and I watched Down and Avenged Sevenfold. Then I've come here and played. And I like that there's this idea of we do need new closers.
Yeah.
And I believe that. And there's nothing wrong with Whitesnake or Judas Priest or Aerosmith or Iron Maiden. They did the work, and we're grateful for it, and they've given us all so many. I mean, especially if you look at Sabbath, everybody's talking about this last show in Birmingham. We did that tour with Sabbath, Slayer, and Judas Priest. I was on the lawn.
That's wild, isn't it?
And Rob being back in the band, on the lawn waiting for Victim of Changes, and when he hit the note, I was like, there were people crying on the lawn.
Yeah.
And so if you had said back then to me, one day they're going to retire and they're going to be gone and someone else is going to need to step up into that slot, it's not up to us. It's up to everyone as the collective consciousness who gets into that slot. So if you have memorable songs and they they hit hard and they mean something to someone, you could be that next Black Sabbath. You could be that next Judas Priest. Nobody has a monopoly on that.
No, and I think it's important that people have that chance and opportunity. Bring Me the Horizon a few years ago, everyone writ them off like, you can't fucking put them on there, they're not right. Every person left that field that day going, they were fucking unbelievable. And I know that everyone will leave tonight saying Sleep Token put on a show that was worthy of them headlining. People will say for years that was one of the best shows ever. Visuals, the thought, the time, the effort. We can't wheel out Kiss in another 10 years' time and be like, the final festival, here's Gene Simmons on a life support machine.
Right.
Like, let's fucking give him the show. Like, it can't happen.
And the days of, like, a band like Nirvana or a Soundgarden just going out there with half stacks or full stacks and no lights and no pyro. Unfortunately, those days are behind us, and it doesn't mean that those days mean any less.
Yeah.
Because I would love it if they were still around. I mean, it pains me to think that we'll never get another Cornell Soundgarden set. You know, I was there at Grass Pop and watched it, and
I never got to see him.
And it was incredible, but that unfortunately is just how fate played out. And so now when you see a Sleep Token or a Bring Me the Horizon, who I think, or even like say like a Parkway Drive, who I could see maybe rising to the occasion one day and headlining here, it's not like it all goes into their pocket. They put it into the show.
It's true.
And the show, I was up there and I think they got a fucking waterfall. I think they're planning like
it looks like a whole waterfall's down the middle of the set.
I'm like, this is
Spoiler.
crazy. So
yeah.
So someone's artistic vision was realized today, and it's going to be realized tonight, and it was somebody's crazy idea that somebody said, you can't fucking do that, and they did.
Yeah.
So that takes balls, man.
Massive balls.
Balls of steel. So respect. I can't take anything away from them, and I'm just happy to be in the conversation still after 30 years.
30 years, man. Now, they're telling me I've got like a couple of minutes left.
Yeah,
What I do on
we're
this
good.
podcast, in the future, come back on, we'll do a
For
longer
sure,
episode, because I'd
for
love
sure.
to talk to you for a long time.
Yeah, I'd love it,
And,
man.
we're always at
Maybe
other
on the Kill
festivals.
Switch run, because
Yeah.
we're going to finally have some news with the record. We're going to finally have a new single out. And yeah, it's, you know, I brought up Bloodstock earlier, and that was a big deal for us.
What
going
a festival
back.
that is. What a great size and fucking atmosphere there is unbelievable.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's one of the best ever. And we really had to earn it.
Yeah.
You know, it was not given. It was earned. And seeing Vicky and Al here and knowing how supportive Andy's been of them, even though it's, you know, technically competition.
It's like a rival, but they're all friends behind the closed curtain.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
I aspire to be like them in a lot of ways, because I have a festival in the U.S. called Milwaukee Metal Fest that I purchased 3 years ago. And I've dealt with the same sort of criticism, because I put Slaughter to Prevail as a headliner one year, and I put Mr. Bungle as a headliner one year.
Oh, man.
And sometimes people are like, they're not a headliner.
Mike Patton would be that's
I mean,
awesome.
They rose to the occasion, and
Yeah.
they were the headliner.
I've had Dave Lombardo on the podcast. What a fucking legend he is.
Legend. And they were great. And
Yeah.
then, you know, on the Friday we had Blind Guardian last year, and
Can we come one year as press and just
Yeah,
come and
you
do
really
interviews?
should. You would
Fly
love
us
it.
free over
Yeah.
there. We'll have a fucking party.
you should. It's really building to be something great, and I couldn't have done it without, you know, seeing the lead and the charge that they've taken. You know, Andy and Cameron and Vicky and Al and everybody, the whole crew and the staff behind the scenes. And like I said earlier, this is like a bonus. This is like gravy on top, because obviously we'll be back next month with Slayer for their final London show, which I still can't even believe we're getting able to do that. And then, you know, we're being able to do that. And then back, I think we're doing like Wembley or the side room at Wembley or the smaller, you know, we're doing that with Killswitch in October. So now it's like, get home, finish the record, show and prove, come back. And, but we're still free agents. So that went semi-viral at Bloodstock. We're going to decide soon. We're going to figure it out. But yeah, new music coming soon.
We've got 30 seconds, right? Final question. You can pick any song in the history of music to be played after our interview. A song that means a lot to you personally, not from your own band, but I know I'm being cruel, because normally you get a couple of minutes, but they're saying to me we've overran.
Oh, that's okay.
What's a song that you fucking adore that you want to be played after this interview goes out for the world to listen to?
You know what? Maybe shout out to Cornell. Maybe we do Hunt You Down, because that is a
yes.
banger. And shout out to Many Eyes, the band on my label. I've been telling them, you got to cover Hunt You Down. It's so hard.
Man.
It could be like a post-hardcore track. It's so heavy.
Yes. Beautiful. Come back
All
on when
right,
the
brother.
time's right. Let's get
For
some
sure.
photos.
Yeah,
Thank
guys,
you,
and
dude.
come to Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Perfect.